Hamilton investors, I have an especially special treat for you today. To my left is Don R Campbell. I don't think he needs any introduction, but in case you don't know who he is, you've been living under a rock for the last 19 years. He's a best-selling Canadian author, a Canadian real estate investor, and he's the president of the Real Estate Investment Network in Canada. And we're here in Hamilton today. We've actually chosen this location because we just saw a presentation on the LRT in Hamilton. And we're at the corner of King and Queen, so we dubbed it the Royal Intersection. And there'll be an LRT station stop on both sides of the street. And I'll pass this over to Don now. So Don, hey, you've been researching towns for like the last 19 years, and now what have people been saying to you when you bring up this town, Hamilton?
Well, the interesting part is this has happened with Edmonton back in the day when we first said Edmonton was the #1 place in Alberta. As people go, have you been there? Do you have any idea what it's like? And the same thing is we're finding from George Stroumboulopoulos all the way through BNN, and even the average Hamiltonian is saying, really? Hamilton's #1 in something? And the truth of the matter is, it's in our report, it is the #1 place in all of Ontario for the next 5-year window.
Can you name some of the things that Hamilton's doing especially well? Why does Hamilton have such a bright future?
Well, #1 is, if you're looking at housing stats, Hamilton doesn't look so exciting. But housing stats are telling you what used to occur and has already occurred. What we're looking at is what the Economic Development Office is doing. They're bringing jobs back. They're bringing the Canada Breads. They're bringing the major employers who left Hamilton before and bringing them here. And once you start to bring bodies and once you start to bring people into the city, guess what happens is that the real estate demand starts to go up. Vacancies go down, property values start to go up. This is a good thing for investors, but the nice thing is we're identifying it 3 to 5 years before it's even going to happen. So the smart money is go look now.
Right. And while we're talking about LRT, this is the B line we're standing next to where it's supposed to go. And so we're looking sometime beyond 2016. And but to get to my question is, how does something like an LRT stop affect real estate values in the immediate area?
Well, we've studied the market. We studied actually LRT expansion around North America, and for the last 20 years, and we've done a major study on it. And what it tells you is when that station opens, 1 year after that station opens, people start to move to that region. The demand within 800 meters around that station takes off faster than any other place in the city. So if you know where the stations are going to go, and you know for a fact that they're going to build it, don't buy on a whim. But if you know for a fact that they're going to build it, guess what? You can look like a genius by buying now within 800 meters of the future stations, and knowing fair well that those property values are going to go up 15% faster than anywhere else in the city.
And in previous discussions and presentations I've seen you give, you talk a lot about McMaster Innovation Park, which is about 2 kilometers that way.
Right.
So how do you think that will affect this immediate area in the city in general?
Well, what the McMaster Innovation Park and other employment centers that's really occurred here in Hamilton is going to be bringing people here, a different demographic than what used to live in Hamilton. And you're seeing the young professionals starting to move into Hamilton, and therefore different neighborhoods are going through revitalization. They're coming in, they're doing major renovations on their homes. The Innovation Park is going to be almost like an incubator, which is going to allow Hamilton 5, 8, 10 years from now have a number of very strong, small businesses, just like we saw around the university in Kitchener-Waterloo occur. We're going to start seeing that in Hamilton 5, 8 years from now. So our job as investors is not to wait till that happens, but to get into a market before that happens, and therefore position ourselves before the wave instead of after the wave.
Right. And that's a good segue into my next question. You're talking about getting in before the wave. In your BNN segment, where you were talking about predictions for the Canadian real estate market for 2011.
Yes.
You talked about Hamilton. You were saying singles and doubles 2011, 2012, and closer to a home run 2013.
Yes.
Can you describe what's happening in 2013 that leads us to a home run? closer to a home run.
Well, what we're going to start seeing in 2013 are the results of all the work from the Economic Development Office, the City Council, and the Mayor for bringing those people in. Now, everything happens in a long cycle in the economic world, and so what we're trying to do here is get Hamiltonians and Hamilton investors to wake up to the area, because what has to happen is, or not what has to happen, what will be happening is 2 to 2.5 years from now, you're going to see the impact of all of these new people moving into the city. Right now, they've become renters, but eventually, within 2 to 2.5 years, you're going to start seeing 40% of those people turn into buyers as they discover the gem that Hamilton is.
Right. And leading into a bigger question, because you and I, we both blog, we read some of the blogs that are out there, and there's a huge glut of negativity out there.
I love it. It's fantastic.
So let me bring up some of the negative items that they keep on raising.
Sure.
So like rising interest rates and increasing household debt, and all these things are supposed to bring the market down. Like, what do you think about that? What do you tell people who spend too much time reading the media instead of taking action?
Well, we look at all those things and then analyze them as part of our ongoing monthly research we do for RAIN members, of course. But we like to look at them not from a non-emotional point of view. What is the real math? You know, you saw in the same newspaper, household debt up substantially, and on 2 pages later, household net worth at a record level in Canada. But of course, it's 2 pages later because it's good news. And interest rates, yes, interest rates are going to go up. But of course, they're not going to be 16 and 18% in the next little while. That's nonsensical. We've got a strong dollar. Canada has got a strong economy, but our customers, U.S., etc., are quite soft. So we can't raise our interest rates without driving our dollar through the roof, which will kill jobs. Government's not going to kill jobs. That's not their job, obviously. So you're going to start to analyze and factor in that the interest rates are going to go up 2 to 2.25 over the next 3 years. Factor that in when you're buying a property. Make sure that you've budgeted for it. So if it doesn't happen, it's great. And if it does happen, it doesn't matter. You can sleep at night because you already factored that in.
That's right. Okay, someone we both know, Ed Renkema, asks, is it too late to invest in Hamilton? And I believe his tongue was firmly planted in cheek when he asked the question.
Ed Renkema, for you, it's too late. For the rest of us, it's nowhere near too late, because we're not even going to see this momentum hit until 2013 at least. So what we're trying to do here with this report is bring attention to investors to get into the market before the wave instead of after.
Speaking about timing, so everything we talk about LRT, even Go Station, still a couple of years in the future.
Yes.
What kind of strategy should investors take today? Like, should they wait until there's approved funding, or when they break ground? How do they time these sort of things?
If you're going to buy based on only purely on the number one thing is LRT, like the light rapid transit that's going to be on here behind us, then you have to wait until the diggers start digging and the government's approved and you're actually seeing the work. But if you're buying cash flow in a transition neighborhood, an area that's already going through the transition in Hamilton, you don't have to wait. But if your only indication is the GO train or the LRT station, then you have to wait until, because governments, as we all know, announce things over and over and over again.
In your presentation earlier today, you mentioned there's a couple things that Hamiltonians and Hamilton as a city has to do to achieve its potential. Can you name some of those things?
Yeah, number one is you have to get behind the Economic Development Office. Number two is you have to really start believing the numbers rather than believing what used to happen in Hamilton. You have to start looking at these reports and saying, okay, wait a second, maybe there is something to this. How do I get that word out? And as investors, your job is to obviously get the word out. I'm not a realtor, I'm not a mortgage broker. It doesn't matter to me whether you buy a piece of property in Hamilton. Really, truly doesn't. But I'm telling you, get the word out about what's coming for Hamilton, not what used to happen in Hamilton.
Right. And that's good for me.
Great. Erwin, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much. And good luck to everybody.
And I'd just like to say quickly, I've been a RAIN member for over 3 years, and it's knowing Don and being part of RAIN has been a massive catalyst in my life, and I wouldn't have been able to become a full-time be full-time in real estate without being part of RAIN. So I'd like to take this chance to say thank you very much to Don.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much. Cheers, man. Thanks.